Hi guys, Mr. Rice here, and we are going to do some video game design in MakeCode Arcade. Today, we're going to do the Pizza Chaser program, where you'll learn how to make different kinds of sprites and create events when they overlap, so they can do different stuff. So let's look at how to make the Pizza Chaser game. So when you get into MakeCode Arcade, click on New Project. We're going to call this Pizza Chaser. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to make my game with pizza. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to make a background color for my game here, just so it's not a black background. So let's change the background color with scene and set background color like this. And I will make it green. There we go. Now I got a nice green background. Okay, so now I'm going to make my first sprite. And this is going to be my player-controlled sprite. So click on Sprites, create Set My Sprite 2 right there. And I'm going to, you can draw your own sprite, highly encouraged, but I'm going to pick one from the gallery. I am going to pick this nice puppy sprite here. That's cute. Okay, let's give it a name. Let's call it Puppy. Okay, so notice it says sprite and then the puppy of kind player. So the kind is important because we're going to add another kind of sprite too. We're going to add a food sprite. So let's create another sprite. And I will pick a food from the gallery. Notice there's a bunch of food at the top here. Let's pick the pizza. That looks nice. Okay. And this time I'm going to change my sprite kind to kind player to food. There we go. So now it's not going to change anything in your code yet. It will help us later though when we create the overlaps. Okay, notice my sprites are stacked on top of each other. So let's change the position of these sprites too. We'll put the puppy down here and the pizza up here. So to change the position of the starting point of your sprites, click on Sprites, Set Position. Now you should get an error until you select the sprite. Oh, no, I do have my sprite, but I want to change this one to pizza. Should give my sprites good names. Okay, now I have pizza and puppy. So my pizza position, let's set him over here. So to change the position of your sprite, you can click on the X and Y and change the numbers manually, or if you click on the numbers, you get a little grid here in blocks mode. So I'm just going to pick a position right there. I'm going to do the same thing with my puppy sprite. Set position to, change that to puppy. Now my error should go away. Let's put our puppy down here. Okay, perfect. Now my puppy's down here and my pizza is up here. Let's add one more sprite. Let's add an enemy sprite that will chase your puppy and try and kill it. So let's add one more sprite. Put it right there. We're going to select a sprite that looks like a bad guy. Maybe this ghost here. Okay, looks good. Let's name this ghost. And let's change the kind to enemy. Okay. Finally, let's set the position of the ghost as well. We'll put the ghost here. Oops. Okay, so now I have 3 sprites. I have a puppy, that's my player sprite. I have a pizza, and I have a ghost. Right now, my puppy does not do anything. He should move around. So let's make it move around. Click on controller and then move my sprite with buttons. Put that at the bottom. Change my sprite to puppy. And now my puppy should move around. Perfect. Now you can change the speed that your puppy moves by clicking on the plus button. I don't want to change the speed though. I think the speed of the puppy is pretty good right now. So I'm just gonna leave that. Okay, let's also give my puppy some health points. So when the ghost touches my puppy, we want the health to go down, right? Because he's a bad guy. So to get your puppy some life, click on info, and let's set life to 3. There we go. Notice now I have 3 health points, or life, or whatever you want to call them. Finally, let's get the ghost to follow the puppy and like chase the puppy. So to do that, click on sprites, and under physics, you see there's a sprite that says, or a block that says follow. Now what this does is it makes my enemy, we'll change that to ghost, follow my sprite, which will be puppy. So now my ghost should automatically follow the puppy. Okay, it goes really fast though. So I'm gonna slow the ghost down to, let's just slow it down to 10. By clicking on the little plus button there, you can change the speed. So now this is a much better speed for my ghost. He's not so scary anymore. Okay, so let's make a little game out of this. When my puppy eats the pizza, we want his health to go up. We want his life to increase by 1. So in order to do that, we need to create something called an overlap. So overlaps are found in the sprites toolbox. We're gonna scroll down here until you get to the overlap section. So we want this block. This is on sprite of kind player overlaps other sprite of kind player. Now notice it does not fit inside on start. It's its own section. So we'll put it over here. It can go anywhere though. It cannot go inside of on start. All right, so we want a player sprite to overlap other sprite of kind food. So now when the puppy and the food overlap, we can make them code in something and do something. So when the puppy and the food interact with each other, what do we want them to do? We want the life to go up and we want the pizza to disappear. So when the puppy hits the pizza, let's change life by 1. Right now it's -1. We want it to be +1 to go up, right? We also want the pizza to disappear. So to make the pizza disappear, there should be a destroy sprite button. There we go, destroy my sprite. And then the pizza goes away forever. Destroy pizza. Now, if you click the plus button, you can pick the effect that you want it to disappear with. Some of them are kind of fun. Let's destroy it with, let's do disintegrate. Let's see what that one. So now when I steer my puppy into the pizza like this, the pizza disappears and my health goes up. Did you see that? Now, nothing happens when my ghost hits my puppy. So let's code that now. That's another overlap. So in the sprites toolbox, go to overlap right there. Okay, now we want the player sprite overlaps enemy. So make sure enemy is here. Keep player on this one. So when the ghost overlaps the puppy, we want the life to go down by 1. So let's change life by -1. Okay, let's see if that works. So now when the ghost hits the puppy, his life should go down by 1. Anticipation is killing me. Now, did you notice that? His life went down really fast. And that's because the ghost hits the puppy, but he's still on top of the puppy. So his life goes down by one, by one, by one. His life goes down really fast because you can't get out of the way in time. So once the ghost hits the puppy, let's move the ghost back to his original starting point so that he only hits the puppy one time. So to do that, click on sprites. We'll change the position of ghost back to his starting point. So now when the ghost hits the puppy, he should disappear and go back to the starting point. And look at that, my life only goes down by one. Much better. Now I get a game over. Now, it might make, this is a good enough game and this game works, but it might look a little better if the ghost disappears for a second and then reappears after changing position. So let's make the ghost disappear as well. A little more advanced coding here. So click on sprites, and the block you need is called, it says set my sprite auto destroy. And that's the one you need. We're going to change auto destroy by clicking on the drop down to invisible. So this will change the ghost. Instead of just moving position, it'll turn invisible. And to make it invisible for 1 second, click on pause in loops. I'm gonna put it below the change life. For 1 second. And then let's turn the invisible ghost off. So I'm going to duplicate that block by right-clicking on it. And underneath the pause, turn invisible off. So you'll see what this does in my code here. Now when the ghost hits my puppy, it will disappear for 1 second and then reappear. So it's a little more effect like in Pac-Man, when you eat a ghost, they disappear and they go back to the starting point and then they come back out. A little more playability, a little more interesting. So there you go. That's Pizza Chaser in a nutshell. Your dog chases the pizza to get an extra life, but if it hits the ghost, his life goes down. Now, can you make that game a little more interesting? Maybe add a little more challenge, add a second enemy sprite, maybe add a timer, try and stay alive as long as you can. Make it your own, make it a little more interesting, and there you go. That's some overlaps with sprites coding. Good luck, and thanks for tuning in, and have fun with coding. Bye now.